Nobody anticipated this. At one point, he was proudly bringing a battered Porsche into the garage, arms crossed and a broad grin on his face, prepared to demonstrate the true art of auto repair. Soon after that, Edd China had vanished. There will be no on-screen goodbye or final chuckle with Mike. Who ousted the king of huge orange gloves from wheeler dealers? Millions of fans stared at their TVs in confusion. What, however, transpired in reality once the cameras ceased rolling? Some claim that the show's soul was slashed out by an abrupt budget cut. Some say wrenches dropped during a fierce showdown. We will dissect the rumors, sort the facts, and uncover the truth in the next minutes. Stay a while. Simply because reopening the workshop doors could hinge on a single, insignificant element. Before how-to videos on YouTube became the norm, two very different Brits revolutionized automobile TV forever in 2003 when they stood in front of a single camera. Finding rusty deals at back alley auto lots was Mike Brewer's natural talent. He was also a stand-up comedy and auctioneer. He was dwarfed by Edd China. Ready to transform those wrecks into gems fit for the road, with a cool head and a pair of bright orange gloves. It wasn't merely the before and after reveal that drew people in. Edd had a knack of making time seem to fly by. With language a child could imitate in the driveway, he removed wheels, labeled bolts, and explained how to spin the spanner. Edd proved to a whole generation that a broken head gasket or seized brake caliper wasn't fatal, while Mike made jokes about profits and counted expenses. Over the weekend, we went on an excursion. This was a very electric mix. From Bahrain to Brazil, viewers sent letters pleading for more in-depth fixes and longer episodes. More than 100 countries were airing the show by the 5th season. On the 9th, they had already rounded up the entire crew and headed to sunny California in search of new music and a massive American audience. In the blink of an eye, the lads were adding classic Camaros, DeLoreans, and Ford Mustangs to their ever-expanding collection, all the while navigating sponsorship deals with contract-fine language they'd never encountered before in increasingly constrained film timetables. While they were around, it looked like everything they touched had a halo effect. However, keeping everything in motion proved increasingly challenging as the circus expanded. And just outside those expansive workshop doors, the initial fissures were beginning to emerge. Everything expanded upon the team's relocation to California. The butcher shop, the money, and the meat. Faster episodes, more shows, and less time were all goals of the new Velocity network. Shooting began before dawn, automobiles had to be sold by dinner, and the only thing moving faster than the bills was the stack of takeaway boxes at the door. It appeared to be a dream at first. The garage was enormous, with gleaming lifts and muscle vehicles parked in every nook and cranny. There was an infinite supply of parts and tool chests that towered over most individuals. Rules were attached to the ideal, though. With scripts in hand and stopwatches at the ready, producers paced the floor. When it used to take 10 screen minutes, a brake job now takes only 30 seconds. A complete dissection of the engine was reduced to 5 fast pictures with narration. First to sense the shift was Edd. Teaching was something he truly enjoyed. Every slash seemed like he was ripping out pages from his manual. His request for further time to fix it bordered on a beg. Mike made an effort to satisfy everyone. Before making sure Edd was okay, he shook hands with the sponsors. Nevertheless, the disparity persisted in widening. They continued to giggle while filming. The grins, however, were thin in between takes. It was noticed by the fans. Message boards went dark. How come you're in such a hurry? What about the details? Viewers in Birmingham, Brazil, and Brazil didn't see the steps that allowed them to fix along at home. The show's core audience was losing interest, but the ratings were steady. Edd remained late on most nights. In the hopes that they would be retained by the editor, he shot more close-ups. Many were never admitted. He saw entire classes discarded in the editing room. The pressure grew with the sound of a whistle in a kettle. It seemed like it would explode at any moment. After that, Edd uploaded a 6-minute video in March 2017. The entire workshop was rocked. It landed on YouTube like a wrench on a table. A 6-minute video called "I'm Leaving Wheeler Dealers" debuted on Edd China's channel on March 21, 2017. Strictly no jokes or clickbait. There was just Edd, wearing his orange gloves, seated at an unadorned desk, staring intently into the camera. His speech was measured and precise. He added that the new leadership intended to shorten the repair scenes. This was referred to as efficiency. "No problem," Edd said. In the absence of actual repairs, a car show is merely a parade. He decided to walk instead. He wished the network well, thanked the viewers, and praised Mike. Even still, the pain was there, between the courteous phrases. His statement, "It's not the direction I can support," struck a chord with the audience. In the name of expediency, the show's soul was being chopped. The comments started roaring within the hour. Exchanges saw a surge in shares. Communities on Facebook and blogs on cars. It was on car news sites by lunchtime. The following evening, it had become a Twitter craze. Some people marked screenshots, clipped lines, and looked for hidden hints. Many applauded Edd for being true to his trade. Some people wanted to know why Mike wasn't fighting harder. The view counters whirled around like a needle with tacks. The numbers 1, 2, and 5. News reporters contacted Edd and Mike to get their quotes. A brief message was sent out by the network. The show is still going strong. Felt thin. At the end of the clip, Edd smiled tightly. "If you keep making and fixing," he told the camera, "he'll see them soon." With a wave, he went. The internet erupted in speculation as the screen went dark. The first wave of shock was over, and fans thought they knew the reality now. The storm was on its way, and Mike Brewer would be the one it hit first. Like a brick through a windshield, the backlash struck Mike Brewer. Posts expressing anger quickly accumulated across all platforms following Edd's video. Some viewers felt Brewer betrayed their trust by allowing the show to lose its heart. Some people were more aggressive and made sinister threats that were unrelated to the rusting vehicles or gasket leaks. By tweeting that he loved Edd like a brother and had pleaded with the network to retain the lengthy repair scenes, Mike attempted to defuse the situation. It had no effect. Over and over, the water level rose. The wrath quickly manifested in the actual world. Hate letters flooded Mike's inbox. An ominous note threatened that his home will soon be visited. Still another man dragged his adolescent daughter into the turmoil. Feeling terrified, Mike dialed 911. The officers took down his information and warned him to be vigilant. The stress almost destroyed him, he stated afterwards. Nobody should threaten Mike, and Edd himself posted a message urging everyone to calm down. But a little spark may ignite a raging inferno on the internet, and that was exactly what happened here. Patrons became agitated. A tire brand canceled an upcoming advertisement. In a larger news release, the network promised that Wheeler dealers would adapt while remaining loyal to its heritage. They unveiled Aunt Anstead, a new mechanic renowned for her quick builds and charming personality. Curious to see new faces, some viewers cheered. Some people yelled that they were done with the show forever, while others claimed they could be replaced. Despite all the chaos, many fans were keeping a watch on Mike and Edd in the hopes that they would mend their relationship. The breakup felt definitive for the time being, though. While Mike was getting ready for his first program without Edd, Ant, a rookie, was about to experience the full force of the spotlight. The cameras continued rolling after the dust settled, but this time they had a new operator. With a smile nearly as wide as Edd's reach, Aunt Anstead, a former cop turned automobile builder, strode into the workshop. Both his humor and his ability to use an impact wrench were lightning fast. His enthusiasm was seen by the network as a way to attract viewers back. A vivid blue Mustang swooped into view at the beginning of Ant's debut show. In record time, he dismantled it, replaced out the gearbox, and sprayed paint like a pro. Viewers looking for non-stop action were blown away, while the more seasoned viewers who liked to take notes took a step back. As they scowled. "Where is the detailed walkthrough?" In the comments, they inquired. "He lined up that clutch in what way?" There was no new charisma to mask the missing pages, and the step-by-step instructions were still slightly edited. Ant attempted to close the distance. He pushed to get the additional side clips of him explaining complex tasks online in between takes. Just a handful went viral on YouTube. A hard drive retained the majority. Viewers remained divided, but the show's rating remained stable. People who were seeking exhilarating, rapid-fire thrills and those who could still feel the show's energy had left. Mike tried to guide the new team as best he could. Then he promised greater detail in the future, gushed over Ant's abilities, and hinted at larger projects. Still, the same shadow hung over all of the social media posts. Edd, please return. Ant made a joke about being the TV mechanic who was both adored and hated by viewers. The weight of the pressure was like a V8 block on a folding bench when the camera wasn't there. Regardless, vehicles came and went. In the show, viewers may see a 240Z, a soiled Ferrari, and even a military Humvee being sold for profit. The ratings showed the show could go on, but would viewers still enjoy it? As Brewer and Anstead pursued the next deal, Edd disappeared into a secluded workshop on the outskirts of the English countryside. Over the course of 4 years, the towering figure wearing orange gloves didn't say anything, appearing solely at automotive events and fundraisers. Where did he go? The fans demanded. Edd China's Workshop Diaries, a new YouTube series, provided them with the solution they were looking for in 2021. On a Friday night, the pilot episode was released. There are only Edd, a boiling kettle, and a weary Range Rover waiting for help. There are no fancy visuals or TV schedule. He warmed up to the audience like old friends, then got down to business. No montages were done in a hurry here. Each fastener was removed simultaneously. A clear close-up was given to every worn seal. Even took a moment to doodle on a whiteboard when an assignment called for further clarification. It was like being back in the beginning of Wheeler Dealers, only more controlled, slower, and deeper. Projects quickly became more ambitious. He reassembled a milk float from the 1960s and installed an electric engine in a week. Afterwards, he brought back the legendary London-riding motorized sofa that had previously set a world record. The audience adored it. Generous expressions of appreciation throughout the comments. At last, the entire task is visible to me once more. With the help of advertisements, Patreon contributors, and the occasional t-shirt, big hand, or yard sale, the channel was able to reach 500,000 followers by the 10th upload. Edd was free to move at his own pace rather than following network directions. He wrote every Friday for a while, then took a vacation to lecture at engineering fairs or look for rare parts. There were no grievances. They had faith that the next video will be released after the job was fully prepared. Even though sponsors were knocking on his door, he refused to use any of the tools they offered. He made a joke about how everything that isn't in his toolbox isn't part of the act. As for Aunt Anstead, she left Wheeler Dealers in 2020 to return to the UK to be with family. As a replacement, the network chose Mark Elvis Priestley, who had previously worked as a mechanic for McLaren F1. The show's 2021 season was filmed in a new British workshop, and Priestley brought sharp skills and a casual laugh. Viewers continued to compare each slow motion well to Edd's in-depth tutorials, even though the ratings remained stable. Both routes appeared to be set by 2024. On his own time, Edd teaches. While Mike piloted a sleeker, quicker TV, rumors of a reunion circulated in the message boards. Always keep an open mind, as Brewer would say. To shift the conversation's focus, Edd would grin and nod. Only one mystery remained while two distinct realms flourished. Were the two men content to continue their separate paths, or would they ever consider making amends? As usual, the solution was around the corner. The two roads appeared to be intersecting by 2023, but there's always room for a surprise on the internet. One line that got people talking appeared on a little autoblog earlier that year. Rumor has it that Edd China might make an appearance in an upcoming Wheeler Dealers special. Just enough to fuel pages of debate, no names, no dates. A mile-long thread extended over Reddit. Some claim to have seen Edd having lunch at Goodwood with a producer from Motor Trend. According to some, Mike and Edd were secretly arranging a charity bill to celebrate the show's quarter-century anniversary. The men didn't bang the door. Never say never, my phone still works, Mike joked while answering a podcast question. Edd streamed live from his workshop a month after that. Somebody typed, "Would you return at all?" Just as soon as we can reveal every fastener, he paused, smiled, and said. Neither yes nor no was it. More than enough to maintain optimism, in fact. New rumors circulated. A new electric vehicle conversion series supposedly involving the BBC would have both hosts. That Discovery had proposed a road trip reunion was the subject of another claim. 10 nations, 10 vintage automobiles, and a last shake of hands. Dates slipped or budgets dropped, and most suggestions died. However, the chit-chat continued incessantly. At the same time, there were subtle indications that the margin was gradually narrowing. After a 7-year hiatus, Mike and Edd reunited on stage at the 2024 NEC Classic Motor Show. Various panels, all on the same day. Backstage, they exchanged a quick greeting. Twitter went into overdrive as reporters snapped a snapshot of the two of them grinning. Mike publicly tweeted Edd's birthday 1 month later. Good day, my friend. Looking forward to popping in for a beer sometime soon. Edd gave the post a thumbs up emoji to show his approval. Basic hand movements. However, for die-hard fans, they were like rubbing new oil onto a rusted doorknob. Both men were very active when they weren't in the limelight. As a clue that alternative fuels might be his next great discovery, Edd tried out a taxi powered by hydrogen. Mike hinted at the greatest profit the show has ever made while rapping about filming the 20th season. However, the last question was the same in every interview. Are you two ever going to be a team again? In response, every man smiled and shrugged. Relinquishing control to the enigma. Viewers saw that open door as a source of motivation in and of itself. The hope persisted so long as no one put an end to it. The incessant speculation in online discussion groups and comment sections also went away. One thing is certain, there will be a reunion, whether it's next year, next decade, or never. There is yet more to come in the Edd China and Mike Brewer saga. The engine is just warming up and idling, awaiting the subsequent signal of approval. For almost 20 years, a single show about purchasing and restoring vintage automobiles brought attention to a controversy that transcended any particular engine. After what amount of reel is cut, the heart will stop beating? When Wheeler dealers first started, there were no sneaky cuts or sponsor requests, so every scraped knuckle and seized bolt seemed genuine. People watched, attempted, and frequently failed. I was able to celebrate my triumphs with Edd and Mike because I was there. The 2017 breakup demonstrated that being truthful is costly. Trading in high ratings for complete autonomy, Edd chose principle over a secure TV job. The burden of maintaining a worldwide brand and the jobs of scores of crew members fell on Mike, who remained. Both decisions required bravery. Both decisions kept them up at night. Their stories illustrate how two realities are not mutually exclusive. No one is timing the cuts on television, so the art of true craftsmanship may flourish. The sport is based on compromise. The audience's reaction is the most surprise part. Rather than dispersing, fans adhered to both paths. While some people are looking for fast fire flips with Brewer, others are enjoying hour-long deep dives with China. The lesson stands out in a world when content is abundant. Motivate individuals. Regardless of the platform, people will discover you. Thus, will the renowned handshake ever be revived? Very possibly. Trust is more powerful than money, according to history. Those shiny workshop lights could turn on again the day the two men agree that everything is in its proper place, enough screen time for each bolt and nut and due regard for each budget sheet. Up until then, the same dream keeps moving on in two different forms. One who is actively seeking financial gain at peak hours, whereas the other strives for excellence in their lengthy videos. The last question is now waiting patiently in your driveway. Tell me which way you'd turn the dial. Quick turns, comprehensive instructions, or a unique combination of the two? The plot twist that follows may hinge on the show you choose to view next. Edd China and Mike Brewer shown, from a modest London garage to studios all across the globe, that rusty metal cans ignite enormous ambitions. Their breakup demonstrated that following one's heart and making money aren't necessarily bedfellows, but that there are wonderful tales to be told along either path. One presented in brief TV segments and the other in extensive online courses. Perhaps those paths will intersect once more. Perhaps they'd be happier as a couple. Whichever path the majority of fans support could determine the outcome. Do you have any opinions? Post a comment and tell us.